Hey people, it's Niall Stokey. Now, this is like a video I had an idea about for a long time. I watched countless videos talking about Detroit, how it fell, and others about what's going on there. And I had this idea because I watched another video which was about St. Louis, Missouri, and one of the things he mentioned is there's not really many things to attract people to go to St. Louis for tourism, and it made me think about Detroit. I thought Detroit's got there's such a huge bad reputation, and all these things have happened there. But what reason is there for anyone to come back to Detroit for any reason? So I thought about this. You know, Detroit has huge plots of empty land. It's something that's unique around the world, a city with just such big empty spaces. And I thought, what can you put in them to make people come and see them? And I thought about it. Statue parks. You know, you can have all these empty public school buildings with the lawyers, and you could put statues there and turn them into a park and have people come see them, a tourist attraction. Because I've seen other places, I mean, it's not an unheard of idea. You have the Statue of Liberty, and you have Mount Rushmore, and others. So why not have a statue park for people to come see? Now, the idea is possibly viable because, first off, Detroit already owns most of the land, so it doesn't require it to have any eminent domain or purchasing of the land to start this up. But you might say, okay, it's not going to be able to just put it there. You have to have some startup costs. Who's going to pay for it? Detroit doesn't have lots of money lying around. So I thought about that, and I thought, where would you get it? First off, the best idea for a statue park, the first one, would have to be something either corporate or with film stars, celebrities, the people with money and people with lots of name recognition to them. So let's say you have one started up, and you could even build them in a derelict neighborhood to attract people to come there, because that's one of the ideas, but I'll get to that. So let's say with Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler, maybe you could go to people like Eminem or some of these Motown celebrities and just say, look, we need to have some money to build a proper wall, you know, for security, a gate, landscaping to put in footpaths for people to walk around it without mud and that, and maybe a gardener to maintain the area and just clean it up. So with that, so I don't know how much it would cost, maybe a few $100,000 in building costs and restoration costs, just off the top of my head. The idea is so you could put it into a neighborhood which is derelict, and it gets people to go there. Because one of the things I've seen from all these people who are Detroiters being asked, they said, look, downtown's being rejuvenated, but what about our neighborhoods, the places where people actually live? And I thought that's a great idea. Why not get people to not just come to Detroit, but to get them into the neighborhood and get them exploring the city? And that's the thing. So the first idea would be to have one with celebrities, and you could have celebrities pay money, say, I don't know how much, say $10,000 to the city to have a statue, for the right to have a statue, and then the cost for the statue, whatever they may be, to build it. And it can be built outsized tall. It could even be built depending upon what they want. So you could have ones that are built overly large, or things that are built human scale, or even smaller, depending upon what they want and willing to pay. And the idea is this encourages people to go. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be just one with celebrities, but this is just the first idea because this is the big money maker to get people going. And then people will come to see these statue parks of celebrities, but you could have other ones. So you could have ones with ordinary US citizens who can just, you know what, you want a statue of yourself, you just pay the city and then pay the building costs, and you can have it and what you did in life in the plinth, and you could be remembered. And then you could have other parks which could be community spaces for, say, community residents. So, and this would be subsidized by the parks built by the corporate CEOs and film stars. So ordinary Detroit citizens who have contributed but may not necessarily be well known outside of Detroit can have statues built there in their own little park, and it could be a sort of a history of Detroit and the people that made it what it is. You could have other ones with, say, cars, bronze cars from representing Detroit's motor history, so you could go there and see a literal car park and see all these cars from the 50s, the Model T and stuff like that. And then you could have other ones where you can have some statue parks devoted to artists. So if an artist wants to just go and do it, they can just do it, and then they can build it, and it will be something, another incentive for people to come. So you can come into a neighborhood, and you can come to the statue park, and there's all this art that's been given free of charge by the artist simply for the right to have a venue for their work to be exhibited. And the thing is, you could even get more corporate sponsorship. So if the idea takes off and more people come to Detroit, you could have some corporate sponsors have their corporate names put on the plinths that they sponsor or on the walls or billboards around it to have people see it and say, okay. And people might say, okay, fine, you've got it, the idea works, but what is there as an incentive? I mean, for us, an ordinary Detroit resident, how do we benefit from having this idea there? The idea there, first off, having in a derelict neighborhood, so you would have people coming into the neighborhood, especially if they're high-end people like corporates or film stars paying, they will bring more money in and hopefully spark investment there. But then more often than that will be tourists. The more tourists coming into the area, so that will give economic incentives. So restaurants, souvenir stands, and even just people spending money in gas stations on a really upscale, on a really optimistic outcome. You might even have small hotels so people could stay and then visit their little park overnight. And the thing is, it has other safety benefits because a lot of these neighborhoods are just so derelict, the city doesn't feel the need to spend money maintaining them. If more people go to these neighborhoods and there's more outsiders going there, there's more incentive for the city to fix lights, to fix roads, and to have more police patrols there to keep the area safe. So I think that's all about the idea I've said so far. But I really hope that somebody can see this and put this idea forward, because there's, with all Detroit spaces, lots of different statue parks that could be done so that there's a reason for people to come. And the thing is, people might say, hang on, there's nowhere near enough money to buy up, maintain, do all these parks and fill them up within a year or 2 years. That's one of the best things. You don't have to have all of them set up at once, and you don't have to have even one park completely filled up. Each park can be built as time goes on. So if you come back the next year, there might be new additions. There might be new parks to come and new tourist additions to see. And that's one of the things I remember this old guy I spoke to. He said, I don't want to go back to Rome, because Rome, it stays the same. If you go back to London, there's always something different happening. The area's changed, new things are happening, and that's the ideal thing. You want this tourist attraction to constantly keep changing, or have new additions or things to have changed. And one of the main things that I would really hope for with these statue parks is not just the tourism money, but human capital. If you have more people coming to Detroit, that would mean more investment, more people that decide to live there, more people who decide to open up businesses, and hopefully more people who breathe life into the city to make it become something once again. So anyway, I really hope this idea gets taken up. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.